Welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice. Join me as we explore spirituality, self-help, and channeling spirits. Hello and welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium. Thank you once again for tuning in to another very interesting show this week. As in this week's show, we're going to be discussing the topic of the reluctance to follow the path. Also in this week's show, we have the channeling from the world of spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel for spirit to bring their communications and wisdom through. And then later on in the show, we have this week's energy forecast reading, which will hopefully help you navigate your way through the twists and turns of this week. So as I say, what we're talking about today is the reluctance to follow the path. Basically, what we're talking about in this segment is we're talking about those repetitive signs that you've had and you ignoring them in doing what comes natural to you. So that's in a nutshell what we're talking about. So let's start by breaking this down. So like I say, stop ignoring the signs of your calling. What is your calling? Basically, it's what you've come here to do. Basically, from the world of spirit, before you incarnated into this incarnation, you would have made a soul agreement. And part of that soul agreement would be whatever your calling is. And you'll reach a point in your life where you just feel and you keep seeing these repetitive signs. And if you're not doing your calling or not listening to your truth, you start to feel agitated. And you keep changing your mind about things. Nothing seems to work or flow. And so you'll be going down this avenue. It will feel very much like you're on this hamster wheel, so to speak, because you're not following your path, your calling. Now, the signs I'm talking about can be something as simple as you, wherever you happen to be, if you go to work every day, and you catch public transport or something like that, maybe something quite literally, it could be a sign on a bus. It could be some wording, some numbers, angel numbers that keep being displayed to you on a daily basis. And it keeps happening and happening. Maybe you wake up in the morning at a certain time of day and it's that same time every day. And this isn't your alarm that's doing that. It's your natural state of being awake, and that you look at the clock and it's that number. Well, that number will also be a sign, will be a message for you there to start and listen to your calling. So going on that tangent, listening. So listen to your calling. What feels natural to you? What are you afraid of doing? Why are you afraid of doing it? You know, maybe you've been told over the years you can't do that. You need money to do this. You need to know these people to do that. And why would you want to do that? It looks like it will be hard for you and you won't get very far. Basically, you'll hear a lot of people in society that will try to, shall we say, debunk your calling, your dream, if you like, something that you've always felt the urge and need to do since being a small child. I'll give you an example. Ever since I was small, me and my sister, we was always having a laugh and we was messing around. And we used to, back in the day where there was tape recorders, we used to pretend that we had our own radio show and we used to take it in turns being the DJ and introducing things. And we put on a little show, a little play, we'd record it and then we'd introduce one another. And so we'd be doing this. And I didn't know at the time that I would literally be doing my own radio show. I had no idea. But as a child, we saw it as playtime. It came natural to us. We enjoyed doing what we was doing, and we was laughing at the recordings on the tapes listening back. I mean, thank goodness those tapes don't exist anymore, but I recall us having such fun doing that. And I had no idea that I would be doing any of the work that I'm doing now. And that sounds a little bit crazy, doesn't it, coming from a spiritual medium? But some things are kept secret, basically. And I feel as though a lot of these signs, shall we say, the things that have shown up in my life, such as doing these little radio shows, they never went out anywhere. It was just for our personal use and our personal enjoyment. But I didn't know that sign was there all along, going way back, and it was prepping me to do the work that I do now. I had no idea. So along the way, for me, my journey, it was littered with many, many things, many different careers, different subjects that I learned at college, at school, different people I got involved with. But really, it never came into my mind at that moment, that I would be doing what I'm doing now. So I suppose really that was down to me following what society's beliefs were of me and what was the general expectation. You go to school, you go to college, then you get a job and you put your head down to the grindstone, you earn some money, and it's that sort of rat race mentality. And I'm not knocking that at all, really. It's just an observation that this is the general rule of thumb, if you like, that everybody has to follow. Well, what I'm suggesting to you is there will be part of your soul that obviously is aware of all of these things that society has a belief system in, that you need to just relax a little bit to the point where you're listening to your soul. You're listening to your calling. You're listening to what comes natural to you, what brings that sort of enjoyment, that spark in your heart there, and that just seems to come to you without any force. You're not having to force anything. It's very natural. And what I would say, in my experience as well, is you can go down all these various career changes, learning, higher education. You can go down all of these avenues there. But no matter how hard you try, whatever you seem to do, yes, you'll get something out of it, but it never seems to come off the ground, so to speak. You always fall short of reaching that final destination in connection with either a career, like I say, learning. There's always something that stands in the way there as to stop you reaching that conclusion. And I would say, through personal experience, this is because you're only meant to pursue a certain element of that. So, for example, if it's a job that you don't enjoy, but you know that you need the money to do this, there will be other elements connected why you're doing that job on a spiritual and energetic level. Maybe it's the characters that you're working with, the personas, the people, and it's giving you that life lesson, those life skills, how to interact with people, how to understand psychology within people as well. Maybe that is the lesson why you had to do that role. And once you fulfilled that on your purpose there, you then moved on to something else, and then that something else, whether that was a different job, maybe it was a new set of skills that you needed to learn in order to flourish and help and add to your true life's calling, your true life path. Now, again, with me, as you may or may not know, I've done many roles in my life, and some of these roles were, some of the jobs were, they were okay at the time. They certainly didn't fulfill my soul, but there was certainly, I learned a lot from them. I learned a lot from the people I worked with. It gave me that sense of responsibility there as well, and showing up on time, that sense of being reliable there. So also the skill sets and having that eye for detail and listening for detail and things of that nature. There was one particular role where I went into, and it was completely alien to me. And at the time, I was from that generation that was kind of afraid of computers. Computers were just coming out, so to speak. I'm talking about, the late 80s and, around the birth of the internet, the early 90s. And a lot of us my age were a little bit intimidated by them because we grew up in a society where you can't touch that. If it's a computer, you can't touch that, you'll break it, and that'll cost a lot of money and you won't be able to pay it back. So you had that element of, well, I did anyway, had that element of fear about computers because of doing something wrong, breaking it, and not being able to replace whatever was broken. That was just a belief, I feel, that was installed in me that stopped me in my tracks from pursuing computers. However, computers kept showing up on my timeline, and reluctantly I reached a point where I put my hands up and thought, okay, this is the way the world's going. I need to go and do some studying. So I went to college. I learned how to use computers. On that college course, I then went on to another course that helped me to communicate like in a call center environment and do data, taking down the data and also taking calls and having that courteous connection there with clients, with customers, and learning that craft, which then led to me getting a job in that area of business there, dealing with customers over the phone, inputting information. Now, this again was very alien to me. It certainly didn't feel like this was my purpose. It was an opportunity, it was a job, and it was based around the skills that I've just learnt with computers, which in turn gave me that confidence, gave me that awareness, gave me that experience to work with customers and show that courteous level. And little did I know at the time, all of these elements I'm describing to you have all played a vital role in the work that I do now, which I believe is my calling. And those of you that are regular listeners will know that I'm a spiritual medium. And with being a spiritual medium, all of these facets have come into play, such as the computer work, graphic design. That's come into play because you have to do your own advertising. You have to do your own promotions there. You also obviously have to be courteous, show that level of respect, which I do anyway, naturally, but to do it on a professional level as well. So I learned that from the call center experience there as well. Also recalling information, setting up bookings, being professional about it that way. And then obviously with the media work that I do, with the forecast readings, this very radio show as well, you have to be organized and have a clear way of communicating and bringing the point across, which hopefully I'm managing to do this in this episode and the previous episodes that have gone before this. So from my experience, it's become very valuable to go through these things. And it's only now that I'm able to reframe why I've gone through that job. Why did I have to learn that? Because it's all added value to what I'm doing now, and it makes it flow so easier. So it certainly helped me, definitely. What I would say as well is that, like I said earlier, we can be heavily influenced by society's needs. So like there's this prescribed image that we have to go to school, go to college, go to work, and that's it, head down for 30 years or 40 years, whatever. That's not necessarily the case, and it certainly hasn't been my case there. So just be aware of what your calling is, what are you naturally drawn to. Listen to your heart. What are your feelings telling you? What are your natural talents and abilities and interests, for that matter? what comes natural to you without you having to force anything or, fit it into a box, so to speak. I'd just advise you to look at those things, what feels right to you, because this will be part of your calling. Don't worry if it's a little bit rough around the edges. That can be refined with intention, with time, with practice, and with perseverance. And that is actually what has happened with me over the years with the mediumship and the media work and everything else that I do. Nobody jumps off the springboard and does a perfect dive straight away, do they? So, just by you taking a chance, going with your natural abilities, and what I would say is always have that open mind to review the work that you do, assess the work that you do, and then when you do that work again, you can then tweak it, and you can learn by your mistakes, always thriving to do better at a more higher level. And so, like I say, just have that courage to step forward with your calling on your path, and you'll find that you will become more confident, you'll become better at it, and you'll also be your own worst critic in many respects. Because when you do listen back to your content or your work or whatever it is that is your natural calling, your natural abilities, then you'll always be wanting to be the best version of yourself in that moment in time there as well. So I would say, once you've discovered all of that and you've took that leap of faith, it's time to remove your own roadblocks. So I'm talking about those negative thought processes in your mind that have maybe held you back from doing your true life's path, your calling, for many years. For me, being a medium many years ago, this has always been with me. And I always got the calling, but I didn't always answer it down to, like I say, society's beliefs, the jobs that I was doing, the experience within those jobs led me to have those qualities in the work that I do now. So I now know that I had to go through that to enable me to be where I'm at. But what the point I'm trying to raise here is, at the time, way back in the 90s, I had blocks about, I can't tell people that, I talk to spirits and I'm hearing this information for them. I can't go over to them and tell them that. They'll think I'm crazy. And so that was me putting a block up in front of myself. They will think I'm crazy. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what people think, does it? You've got to follow your path. You've got to follow your calling. And that kept me small for many years, being concerned about what people thought of me. And if I would experience ridicule because of the connection and the belief systems that I discovered. Again, it's a natural gift, ability that I feel very blessed to be able to do and to have been chosen and elected to do this work. But it's one that you're always learning. I certainly am anyway. And I'm always refining the work that I do in order to add value, to make it better, to make it more professional. And I think anybody that cares with the work that they're doing on their calling will have that sort of attitude. So for me, those were my roadblocks anyway. I used to keep myself small because I was concerned about what people thought and their perceptions of me. So first of all, remove all of that. It doesn't make any difference other than you're only harming yourself. You're only keeping yourself small and you're delaying the process. Also, what I'd recommend is that when you do align with your calling, you'll notice that everything and everyone will benefit from you answering that call. So it doesn't matter what your natural abilities are, what your calling is. It's one of those situations where it's a win-win-win-win situation. So you benefit because you feel very comfortable, you feel natural, it flows through you, the work comes through you, and it feels very right for you. The people that either have your services, your products, or whatever it is that you're offering on your path there with your natural gifts and abilities will also benefit, because that level of love and passion and enthusiasm that you put into your work, into your calling, will be felt by others. So they will benefit from that. They'll feel that healing, that level of love and passion in the work that you do there. You will feel contented, and it will have a knock-on effect. So those people that maybe book or have your services or your products will then talk about it, and they will express their level of gratitude and appreciation for whatever it is you're doing. And then that energy carries on, and it's passed on, and it's passed on. And this, like I say, everybody benefits. It's a win-win-win situation. But without you actually taking that ownership, that power, and, ignoring the roadblocks that have kept you small, without you doing that, then none of those things, none of that energy can travel as far as potentially what it could do if you simply have that level of courage, step outside of your comfort zone, and just go for it and trust. What you will find when you do reach this stage is life will flow. It will flow easier for you. I say easier because you won't have to go chasing things like you did previously before you started to trust your natural calling, your path. What you will find when you take that ownership, when you have that leap of faith, that opportunities will start to find you. And that's because you've changed your vibration, you've changed your outlook. And so the things to help you on your pathway will naturally align with you vibrationally. And so they will come to you. And you'll, first of all, when this does start happening, you'll find it rather peculiar, because you've always worked very, very hard for the things that you do. And in many respects, you are working hard. So don't think that because you're not pushing and forcing things to happen, that you're not working hard. You're working hard to hold that faith. You've worked hard to have that courage and to take that leap of faith, and to hold that vibration of truth in your heart there, and to stay buoyant, regardless of the naysayers around you, people that are ridiculing you or pulling your choices down, to keep you at a lower level of vibration so that you can't fulfill your soul's journey, your soul's path. So it does take a great deal of effort. So don't perceive these things as it will flow to you, opportunities will flow to you, but don't for 1 minute imagine that you're not doing any work in order to obtain those things, because behind the scenes you're doing a lot of work. So give yourself credit and hold yourself accountable, hold yourself buoyant in that frequency. What you will find as well, you will naturally get the support that you need, particularly if your calling is, like I say, a win-win-win-win situation where everybody benefits from your natural talents and abilities and the services or products that you are providing. You will find that support will be given to you, whether this is morally, emotionally, could even be financially, or opportunities. Whatever you need to keep you doing the work that you're doing will be there for you. And that's because it serves the greatest good of all. Everybody benefits, like I say. This also connects with information. So if you need some knowledge base information in order to expand your products, your services, your abilities, then you will be naturally drawn or led to information that will help you do that. And this is something I find very interesting, particularly as I teach spiritual development classes as well. At the right time, Spirit come forward and they let me know what we're going to be learning in the class, and they let me know the information. They bring it all through, and so I feel very blessed that they do that, because every week is different in all of the classes that I teach. And so I have no idea what the agenda is, and it's just holding that space and that intention for that class to come forward. And then I would say of the same week, the classes, the information, the knowledge base that is needed to be taught in that class is delivered to me from Spirit. And then that is then put in the format of a class plan for those classes. And so I feel very blessed that they do that. They bring in that information, that knowledge base, what is required at that moment in time for that class. So like I say, Spirit, the universe will bring the information that you need in order to add value and to continually keep you on your path and support you on that pathway there as well. But also circumstances can change. This could be your social circle may change. It could be the fact that you, at one time, you used to like going out partying and having a laugh. Now you're following your path, and it doesn't matter what your calling is, but generally speaking, you will have this level of focus beyond anything you've ever experienced before. And so that takes a driving seat in your life. And so everything else becomes secondary to you, and you trust that experience. So like I say, circumstances will change, and it's not just a job. When you follow your path, when you follow your calling, it's not a job. It is, I would say, a lifestyle. Everything changes, and you've got to be okay and comfortable with that as it does so. There's many benefits, but there's also many sacrifices that you will have to make in order to withstand and withhold your calling on your timeline, on your path there. But it will turn out for the best, as everybody will benefit from what you're doing, and you'll always get what you need at the right time. Well, now we're going to be moving into the next segment of the show, which is the channeled section, which sees me becoming a vessel for Spirit to bring their communications through. And as you always hear me say, I love this element of the show because I have no idea what's about to come. And so it's always nice to hear all of that inspirational guidance that's coming through. I set the intention with Spirit before going into trance for information that is relevant to us all at this moment in time and helpful guidance that we need to hear. So after setting that intention, I simply allow myself to blend with the frequencies of the communicators, and I simply relax into that and just basically allow the information and the communicators to come through. Now, at the time when I'm going through this process, I feel very calm, very relaxed, and to me it feels very much like I'm in a meditation state. But I do feel aware that I'm being moved out of my physical body, so to speak, because I've become aware that when I do come round after having these trance communications, I feel like I'm sat at the side of myself, to the right hand side. And so when I come round into the environment, I open my eyes and I'm like, that's unusual. I thought I was sat over here. So it's a very unusual experience, and one that I feel very privileged and grateful to be chosen to do this work. So I'd like you to sit back, relax, take notes if you wish, and enjoy this channeling from the world of Spirit.
Hello, thank you for letting us come through in this manner today. We have lots to discuss. One of the things we'd like to talk about is this misconception about what's really happening in your current reality. As you know, there's no such actual thing as time, as it is all happening all in that same exact moment, and it's where you place your intention and your focus upon becomes your reality, so to speak. But there's been a skewing of the timelines in such a way that it's been causing a lot of confusion with a lot of people at this moment in time on your Earth plane. We use the term time because it's one that you can relate to. If we used anything else, it would cause a mass confusion. So we'll continue to use that terminology when we're describing what's occurring. So basically what's occurring is a skewing of timelines where your intentions and your focus is shifted from where you're presently focusing on, and you're dipping in and out of your past, and you're moving in future timelines that have never even come into fruition, so to speak. In other words, they've never graced your presence. They've never had your intention set to them. And obviously, all of these things encountering at the same time will cause a level of confusion to the point where you are second-guessing who you are as an individual and what you thought you enjoyed and what you don't enjoy now and what you could enjoy. There's all these potentialities being thrown up into the present moment. And obviously, this is causing a level of confusion that is bringing forward a lot of emotional distress to a lot of you that may be listening to this broadcast. What we say to you is, do not despair. You've got to connect in with the truth of who you are. And the way that you do this, and we've said this many times on these transmissions, is through the heart chakra. The mind is a transmitter and receiver of information. And so if you're focusing too much of your vibration on that, you will find that you'll be going through this level of confusion. Instead, focus on the feeling tone emitting from the heart chakra, as this will connect you with the truth of who you are. Most of you have been going through your life, and this is by no means a judgment, where you have fitted into society's belief systems and expectations of who you are as an individual and the role that you play within your society. Well, you've reached a point in your evolution where you've actually discovered that none of those things are actually true. You were living in somebody else's ideals of you, not necessarily the truth of who you are. For some, it will come quite a shock to you when you discover who you really are and what you're here to achieve in your incarnation. For others, it will be a knowing that you've known for many, many, many years and eons. You will simply flow with this level of truth. But for most, it will become a little bit of a shock, a little bit of confusion. And we say to you, again, to follow the vibration of the heart. It will take a great deal of patience with yourself. It will also take a great deal of you taking yourself away from the general narrative. And in many respects, you may feel quite alone in doing this. And this is, we're here to tell you that you will never, ever be alone. It may appear that way on the physical sense of things. Energetically, you are not. You are surrounded by a team, your team of beings of light, your spirit guides and helpers, your family, friends and loved ones in the world of spirit are always around you to offer their support, encouragement, and spur you on in that moment. But what we talk about, this level of tranquility and peace and spending time for reflection, will enable you to be comfortable in the present moment, where you do not hold anything in your mind. And what we're saying when we're reporting this information to you is just being comfortable, being at peace in the present moment. There will be many of you that will want to keep yourself busy and occupied so that you avoid spending this time in the peace and tranquility of the universe. And we say to you that is obviously your choice to do so, but you will always navigate back to this point where you will have to finally be comfortable about sitting in the peace and tranquility by oneself. When you get to this level, without any expectations, without any projections into your future or your past, then you have reached a level of mastery where you can be in alignment with your true path, your true self. And every moment within your life will then be governed by how you feel. How does that make you feel? Does that empower you? Does it take away your power? And you based a lot of your decisions around these feelings. If something excites you, something depletes you, makes you drained and tired, then that will obviously, that level of contrast will move you to the next level so that you can do something that feels right to you. And it's all connected with the feeling of the heart. So those of you that are very organized individuals and or like to plan ahead will find this process very intimidating, very frightening, and a little bit overwhelming. We say to you that you are safe, you won't be disappointed, and you're to trust being comfortable about being in the silence, being in the present, and not having any governing thoughts in your mind. And when you get to this level of being, it can be a very transformative and peaceful experience where you're just basking in that vibration of love and you're comfortable in that. That's the best way we can term it for you. But we certainly would encourage you that over the next up and coming months, you will experience, and we're in December now of 2023, you will experience a level of this peace and tranquility and an observation within you of accepting things as they are, as you are in that moment, more so than anything else. And then you'll reach this level of peace and tranquility. Anyway, we hope this information has given you something to consider when you're going through times of evolution mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. We want to assure you that you are all safe. You are all being guided. And this doesn't matter what your perceptions are. All we ask of you is to step out of the way and be comfortable about being present in the silence of your mind. So I'm now going to pass you on to another communicator that wishes to bring forward some additional wisdom for you. One only knows that when one comes through with such beauty, such tranquility, and with ease and grace. My purpose for attending this conversation today is to let you know about the sacred and divine feminine. And it doesn't matter whether you're male or female, you will all experience this level of sensitivity. For those of you, whether you're male or female, you may be fighting against it because there is a general consensus that this is a very weak position to be in. And what we mean by that is considered that this sensitive side of yourself being exposed to one and all is giving your game away, or you're letting people know that internal version of you. And we say to you, there's nothing wrong in doing that. For how can the earth evolve? How can the energies or frequencies evolve if people are staying guarded and protected in the vibration of fear of other people judging them, fear of the not knowingness? How can you reach a level of evolution if you're not prepared to open up and expose the truth of who you are from your heart chakra? It is very relevant to what the previous communicator has been alluding to, the fact that once you be comfortable in this sense of peace of self, of who you are, the next level of that evolution is not being afraid to let others be aware of the new vibration that you're emitting, your new belief systems, your new vibration emotionally, the way that you open up and share how you feel with others. As there has been a lack of empathy in recent times, where exposing your feelings and emotions has been perceived as a general weakness, because people and energies have manipulated those that are expressing themselves in this manner. And we say to you, the tables are turning to a point where those of you that do not express your truth and your emotions will find it increasingly difficult in order to exist in these new frequencies that we're all moving into, because you will all be picking up on inauthenticity. So in other words, people that aren't genuine, you will all pick up on their vibration. And when somebody isn't genuine, or you're feeling they're not expressing themselves in a true manner, you will pick up on it, and you'll be less inclined to have interactions with them, whether this is socially, romantically, or even in a business setting. You will want that clear transparency with all of your communications. After all, it's all based upon love and trust. So it is a strength rather than a perceived weakness. In fact, a lot of what you've been taught over your years on here has been an inversion of the truth. It's only now that these truths are coming forward in such a manner, at such a rate, that everybody is feeling the discord and the change in frequencies. So look out for you having in-depth conversations with strangers, with friends, with families, to such a level that you've never spoken of before. They will have a deeper understanding and respect of who you are as an individual, and in fact you will be allowing them in to knowing the true essence of yourself, rather than a version of you that you're permitting them to see. You'll see everybody will benefit by you opening up, taking this leap of faith, and allowing all of this beauty to emanate from you. So that's what I have come forward to share with you today. I hope it's given you something to consider in your moments. I'm now going to pass you on to one more communicator that is wishing to say a few words to you.
Hello. Do you mind if I come through? It's been a while, hasn't it? It's me, little Tom. I'm always around listening. In fact, my job is to bring people through so they find it a lot easier. But my message is to you all is to tell you not to worry. You're all safe, you're all well. But it's a time where you'll be walking on that tightrope wire, so to speak, and you'll be putting your best foot forward. What we say to you, like a tightrope walker, don't look down, look forward, look straight ahead, and then you'll be balanced, and you'll have that reassurance that you will get to the other side. If you look down, it will put you off balance, and it will make you feel dizzy and unwell. So look forward, but look forward. We're getting muggled up, but we hope you understand this. They're telling me it's called an analogy. We hope you understand it. So look forward and move forward and be brave. Also, like a tightrope walker, they have to be balanced, don't they, so they can walk their pathway forward. Well, this is what you've got to do in many respects. You've got to watch the foods that you're eating. You've also got to be aware of your, I think you would call it working life and family life and social life balance. Because if it's heavy in one favour, then you won't be able to move forward smoothly on your pathway. So it's up to you, and you can make choices. But actually, a lot of you that do a lot of light work and helping people out on their pathway, what you will find is some of the things that have been stopping you maybe progressing on your pathway have been removed. Removed by your higher self, your spirit guides, and also the soul contract that was signed by yourself and all the other parties involved. This is a collective understanding, so don't feel guilty that you're not seeing certain individuals, or you're maybe not communicating with individuals that you once did. It's simply an agreement that you've all had so that you could all move forward with ease and grace. And also notice that when everything comes in alignment, everyone's not falling out, everybody's friends. It's a beautiful thing when if you saw what we see the other side, all these documents and energies and vibrations that you've all agreed to be a part of. It's something that I can't even put into words. It's beyond my level of comprehension. That's quite a big word for me, isn't it? But anyway, that's why I've come forward today. I will be coming forward again, and I'm being told it's to bring you lots of fun, happiness and joviality, as a lot of you are missing that part of your life and you're not allowing yourself to have fun like I do. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll be very happy to come back soon. Bye, love you, bye.
Wow, what a fantastic transmission there from the world of spirit. They really did pull out all the stops with that. Interesting to hear about time is an illusion, and where we placed our focus intentions is our actual experience. But also that there's been a manipulation upon timelines, and it's causing a lot of confusion with us all at this moment in time. So we're being urged to stop second guessing ourselves of who we are, and just to stand in our power, as we are always influenced and supported by our spirit guides, our higher self there, during this transitional process that we're all going through at this moment in time. Also being at peace with ourselves as we're going through this. It was interesting to hear all of that. And obviously the divine feminine, which was mentioned, that is becoming more stronger, and it's going to increase our heightened sensitivity. And we're encouraged to own that, as it is a bit of a superpower rather than neglecting it or pushing it to one side. But we're going to be picking up on other people when they're not as sincere as we first originally thought. So that's a wonderful tool to have in our toolbox, so to speak, isn't it? And also nice to hear there always from little Tom telling us not to worry and to put our best foot forward, and just watch our balance within our life, as there's going to be a lot of change that's going to maybe influence that some way, shape or form over the next few months there. So wonderful transmission. We're now going to move on to the next segment of the show, which is the forecast reading for this week. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's forecast reading. Hello, my name is Glenn Boddice, and I'm a spiritual medium, and welcome to this week's energy forecast reading for the week commencing Monday, the 18th of December, 2023. Now, those of you that have watched me work before will know that I connect with my spirit team and spirit guides and helpers, and also link in with the Angel Tarot cards. So, as ever, what I'm going to do is shuffle the pack and allow a card to come out at random. And one has literally just done that. So this is your card for this week's energy forecast reading. I'm now going to link into the vibration and energy of it. Okay, so this week, I'm being told perseverance is key. But also this week will see you setting healthy boundaries around your time, your energy, and also your opinions there as well. Now, what is interesting about my guys talking about opinions is there will be people that will be trying to change your mind in some way, trying to influence your decision-making process. However, with setting a healthy boundary and knowing who you are as an individual, we'll see you actually standing in your power. And I'm being told, for once, you'll stand in your power, stick up for your belief systems, and you will be unshakable in doing that. Also, this week, we'll see you feeling slightly out of balance. And I feel as though this is both on a physical level and also on an energetic level within your week this week. So what am I talking about when I'm saying this? I'm talking about literally feeling as if you're doing far too much in one area of your life, and you're feeling a little bit of drained energy that's occurring in your life as a result of you doing that. So this is an invitation for you to actually chill out a little bit, relax, and just allow things to unfold naturally in your favor. Also, in terms of physicality, feeling unbalanced, you'll notice yourself getting up and just adjusting your standing position. And again, this is energy. This is you connecting with the energy of your environment. You're becoming increasingly sensitive, and so you're picking up on the vibrations within your environment that is also causing you to feel this physical sense of feeling unbalanced. So watch out for that. And again, just allow yourself a few moments just to recalibrate and resettle that energy there. I'm also being told that this week is also an invitation for you to trust your heart now more so than ever, as you now feel as though life is aligning for your best interest, in your favor. And actually, when I use that term, in your favor, I feel as though that these synchronicities that are happening in your life aren't necessarily just for you, because even though I've said in your favor, it will have a win-win-win-win-win-win knock-on effect scenario. So everybody benefits by you following these new changes and shifts that you're feeling in your heart this week there as well. So let's turn over the card and see what the card says for you. So at the top of the card, it says 8 of Summer. So I'd like to give you the angel number of number 8 to research, as I feel that that will offer you some additional support and information at this moment in time. I do feel as though it's a very positive number indeed, and I feel as though it's also telling you that you're coming towards the end of a cycle. Now, I know we're reaching the end of 2023, but I feel as though you're almost there with just letting elements go in your life that aren't serving you, as you've outgrown them. You're shining bright and you're changing vibrationally. So you're almost there. Have that level of faith and patience and walk in your walk. Okay. Now it says of summer. Summer to me represents sunshine in your life. It represents all that beautiful energy that is basking all around you. And again, we mentioned earlier about you feeling slightly off balance physically and energetically. I feel as though this is because you're in between timelines and you're just picking up on that subtle frequency of the new coming in, and you're noticing the old leaving your life there. So just be aware of that. Let's take a look at the inscription at the bottom. It says, the desire for a more meaningful life, realizing that it's time to move on, choosing to make major life changes. Very, very strong sentiment there in that message in the card. And very much it's aligning with what my guides were saying about coming to an end of a cycle, not quite fully there yet, but you're in that in-between stage and you're sort of feeling that new vibration coming in. Also, it's going in alignment with and saying, to trust your vibration, follow that heart of yours as well, as it's going to help you unfold as the year comes to a close there. So looking at the artwork of the card, we've got this beautiful blue color around the edge. That's talking about your emotions. It's also referring to communications as well, and being gentle with yourself when you are opening up towards others. This is a very sacred part of the process, opening up to others and feeling okay and comfortable about doing that. And in doing that, in turn, you're going to help so many people feel comfortable and safe in doing the same, in opening up, in sharing their innermost feelings, their thoughts, their desires. So allow yourself to go with that vibration this week. To add to that, my guides have just said, even if your voice shakes, have that courage to step outside of your mind and trust that energy that's wanting to be birthed through you, through your communications, through your emotions. Let's take a look inside the artwork of the card. It's a very dusky image, isn't it, in a woodland setting. To me, that indicates things are changing. You can't quite see the wood for the trees at this moment in time, but however, you can sense it. You can feel that change is about to occur in a big, major scale in your life, as it suggests there at the bottom of the card. It's also showing we've got this elemental being that's actually just walking and procrastinating in woodland. So it's talking about you connecting in with your truth of your true nature, taking time to recalibrate, rebalance, reflect, and not being forced or cajoled into doing things that you don't necessarily want to do. Allowing yourself time to breathe, recalibrate, and again, to balance and ground your energies this week. This is very important as you're on the cusp of major changes within your life there. There's also a pathway walking through this woodland. And as you can see in the artwork, there's this beautiful light that's shining through the trees there. So this is telling you to follow your internal compass, your heart, rather than trying to work things out logically in your mind. Now, most people will encourage you to work things out logically in your mind, but that doesn't sit right with you. It doesn't feel right. Instead, you're going to take your time, you're going to adjust, recalibrate, and trust the vibrations that you're feeling. And as you do that, it will take you into a new level of being in your reality, one that you've never experienced in the depths that you're going to experience within your life. Now, I feel as though this is talking about not necessarily just work life and career. It's also talking about your family life is going to change for the better. It has hidden depths, hidden meanings that you've never even contemplated or observed before. It's also talking about your love life, your romantic life changing for the better as well. And you're going to just feel life more than you have ever done before. And so you'll feel these positive, loving vibrations emanating towards you. You'll also embrace them. You won't shy away from them. Maybe at one time in your life you did, because there was that element of fear or that element of judgment that is based around people's thinking and people's narratives. This time we'll see you actually trusting your emotions and not caring what others think. Instead, you know that it feels right to you, and you're going to follow that positivity as it's going to guide you on your new pathway this week. So that's what I picked up for you for this week's energy forecast reading. I hope that resonates with you. Thank you for hearting, liking, commenting, and sharing. It's very much appreciated. If you have enjoyed what you've seen on here, I have got a Buy Me a Coffee link, which is a virtual tip jar. So all of your kind donations will be gratefully appreciated and used in accordance with the work that I do to help people spiritually evolve and ascend on their spiritual pathway. Also, if you'd like any of my services or products, head over to my website, www.glenboddice or you can find me on Facebook, Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium, and book in with me there. Join me every Monday at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time with my radio show From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, talking about all things spiritual, paranormal, and self-help. And that is on www.pulsetalkradio.com. In the meantime, have a fantastic week. Bye for now.
Wow, what a fantastic forecast reading for this week. It looks like we're all set for some very miraculous and wonderful changes coming into our life. Almost from what was said there, it sounds like we're in that sort of middle position where we're just mulling things over. We're getting our balance right in order for ahead of the new year of 2024 coming in there. So it sounds really, really interesting for this week. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's show. It's always a pleasure to bring forward this information from Spirit, and each subject matter is always brought through from Spirit. So I feel very blessed that they do that every week. Such an honor to be part of the process. But also I'd like to invite you, as I always do, if you have any show suggestions, or if you have any stories of a paranormal, spiritual, or self-help nature that you're willing for me to read out on the show, it'd be wonderful to hear from you. And you can contact me by going over to www.glenboddicespiritualmedium.com, or you can email me at glennboddice@live.co.uk. And again, it will be fantastic to hear from you, your feedback about the show. And again, if you're happy for me to read out your stories on a broadcast, that would be wonderful, as you would be sharing that light with all of the listeners and inspiring other people in doing so. So whatever it is you're doing this week, make sure you're having a fantastic one, and make sure you're keeping in check with the balance within your life. So join me next Monday, 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, From Beyond with Glenn Boddice on www.pulsetalkradio.com. Bye for now. God bless. Thank you for listening to From Beyond. For more information about what products and services Glenn provides, go to Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium